What's up, everybody? Impromptu live stream. What's up? What's up? Let's see who makes their way in here. I just wanted to connect with everybody. Didn't do anything, didn't do my typical live stream on Friday. Should have let people know I was traveling and therefore unable to do a live stream yesterday. But I've now arrived at my destination, almost. I got to take another flight shortly, but so instead we're doing a live today. What's up? What's up, everybody? Getting some comments. Jay Birdson, what's up? What's up? Great video yesterday on Rolf, right? Yeah, is that what you mean? Instead of Joff? Thank you, though. Pure organic cloves says top of the morning. Safe travels. Thank you. I took a flight yesterday and it was, what was it? 5 hours, I think. 5 hours to Costa Rica. Came straight to the hotel. Ended up going to eat and then passed out. I'm still so tired. I don't even know why I'm this tired. I mean, I didn't get a ton of sleep, but I got 6 hours maybe. But I'm just wrecked for some reason. Yes, LOL. What are you doing over there? Just a trip with my family. Nothing crazy. My family wanted to take a trip, and they actually got here 2 days ago. So I'm coming a little bit later, but I'm gonna go meet up with them. No, I'm not Latino. Actually, I know I look like it, but I'm Indian. Cosmo, he's boarding. Yeah, I there's a great place where I board him, and he actually, so he's been going there since he was a baby, and I mean, look, I'm sure it sucks for both of us to be apart, and I'm sure he misses me and wants to reconnect with me, but he's excited to go there, if that makes sense. There's no crates. They get to hang out all day in like an outdoor space, and there's lots of dogs. He doesn't like being alone. That's the thing. But there's dogs, and then there's the people that are back there that watch them and make sure they're doing good. And then there's always somebody on staff. And then when it's the evening, they bring them inside from the outdoor area where they can just kind of hang out and play. There's like water and little pools and stuff like that they'll bring out because it's hot. And then he comes in, and there's no crates, so they have futons and stuff, and he sleeps because that's how he's used to sleeping with me, just on the bed. Mavo Gawa, what's up? What's up? Mayar says hi, everybody. What's up? Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit after I made that Rolf Nuyts video because it was pretty interesting. So, like I said, just to give you guys a little bit of the backstory, Melissa, who's one of the people that watches the channel, she sent me an email 2 months ago with all that stuff, basically saying, hey, I want you to check out this series, Messengers. And I had never seen it. I left the email as unread because I'm like, I know there's something in there that I want to go back to and look later. Like, I opened it, but then I made it unread again so I wouldn't forget to go back to it. But I hadn't gone back. And she came in one of the live chats recently and said, hey, did you ever watch the stuff I sent you? And I said, you know what? No, I didn't. But you know what? I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it. So then I went back and I watched this show, and it's a 6-part series. The first 3 parts are not as explosive, I would say, as the last 3 episodes, 4, 5, and 6. And then I watched those and I was like, oh my God. It's something that I've been searching for or continuously searching for, but it's because it is a kind of a top to bottom explanation of how everything came to be. And can we say that everything is the exact right answer? No, we can't. But obviously, once again, what are we doing? We're looking for the overlaps. We're looking for the consistencies in what other people are saying, trying to piece together this puzzle. And there was a lot of consistencies. There's also areas and gaps that were filled in by him that I had questions about, meaning how the heck did the Archons come to be? What exactly are they? Are they like us? Are they not? Are they NPCs? Are they soulless? Are they AI bots? You know, what exactly are they? His explanation may not be the right one, but he has an explanation. Entities that have chosen to create but no longer incarnate in that creation, essentially separating themselves from the rest of us, which thereby disconnects them from source and creates the need to then siphon energy from us. And I thought that was super, super cool. Yeah, on top of that, there was so much other great information, just the things that he's seen, the what did he call it? The Loosh, or the pathways of Loosh. Tony calls them pipes of Loosh. Going back to Saturn, how many times have we heard that? That Saturn is where all this energy is going. And then he said that Saturn is the incarnation in this universe of the, whatever you want to call it, Yaldabaoth, the demiurge. I think he calls it Yahweh. That was really, really, really interesting. So that entire framework was fascinating. And then, of course, he even talks about the ways out. Not looking out, looking within. How many times have we heard that in different forms? I feel like Howdy McCoskey has said exactly that. How far do you intend to take this? Any jurisdiction where we can carry controlled NDE under medical? Possibly. Listen, I think after I had my call with Tina and Karen, I said that, okay, I don't think I'm not going to try to be having an NDE anymore. That was maybe I was too hasty there, maybe not, I don't know, but there is a possibility that these types of explorations or journeys, I imagine, could happen in a safe way, in a manner that's controlled. I mean, people do them routinely. Tony, for example, and it does seem to be that he is having problems or attachments or things like that. So they're probably, and there are people that know how to protect themselves. Who was it? Was it Tony, or I can't remember who talked about this, but one of the methods by which you can protect at least your soul body is, from my understanding, is even just visualizing some sort of an orb surrounding you. So maybe there's similar ways where you can do that and protect your physical body. So yeah, I think that was a bit hasty to say that I should just abandon this altogether for now, but I do want to wait. Well, look, I'm not even able to have them yet. So I'm meditating though every day with this app that Tony gave me, but with a different intention now. But maybe I'll wait until I have my next session, talk to Tina and Karen a bit more, and to come to any sort of firm conclusion. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I'm like, maybe I was a bit hasty when I said so definitively that I'm giving it up completely. I need to do more research. Didn't expect the live stream. I'm not going to be taking breaks, really. I mean, taking breaks maybe for a day or two or like that from this channel, but a whole week? Nah, that's not happening. Saturn is the sphere of Aleos, the archon associated with fear. Oh, interesting. Where did you hear that, or where did you read that? AI bots, what did you think we called them before the Matrix and all these computer terms we're actually using now in spiritual way? AI bots. What do you think we called them before the Matrix and all these computer terms we are now using in spirituality? Got it. So, well, so wait, what are you saying exactly? Are you saying just that they're demons, archons, or something like that? And then, yeah, what exactly are you saying, Shannon? Can you clarify a little bit? I sometimes get OBEs involuntarily. Oh, I'm saying NDEs. I meant OBEs. Sorry, I'm using the wrong 3 letters. I'm so tired right now. I apologize. I sometimes get OBEs involuntarily. I've seen black cubes in the astral. I went there one time with a guide, and I seen black cube, which was containing my grandpa's consciousness after death. Whoa, that's crazy. No, I don't know who Jason Abadi is. Who is he, and what is his content about? I believe I've seen the real portal out here, not the fake light. I can go in detail. I've seen lots of things and have experience with grays. Whoa, really? I've seen craft and astral and physical. I've seen crafts. Crafts like spaceships. Here is the direct link to Jason Abadi's channel. Okay, hold on. I will share. I'm going to come back to you, Starseed, 1 second. I will share the source. Apparently, on the other side, we know this entities by their names. Okay, so Shan says we are now using different words since the explosion of AI. Right. So we're using different words now. But are you trying? Okay, Shannon, are you trying to say? Are you basically trying to say that your understanding is that the overseers or the creators or whatever are indeed devoid of a soul or a connection to source, and then now we're calling them AI? But is that what you're trying to say, as opposed to what Rolf Nuyts is saying, that they're basically like us? The connection's just been severed. That's what I'm wondering if you're trying to say that. The exact Archon to planet assignments may vary considerably among modern reconstructions. Yo, Krishna, thank you for the jewels. Let's go. Krishna says jamming. Love your effort into infinite life realms, which is my. What's up, Jeff? Thank you. Jason Abadi's last video titled Archons. Oh, so this is right on the money. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go to the channel right now. 1 second. I got a topic for you. Ever heard of shadow being? And so what do you think they are? No, I have not. I saw a few on different out of body experiences. Shannon says, I don't know. Okay. No worries, Shannon. Hold on. We're going to go to this thing right now. Let me share my screen. Let's take a look at Jason Abadi. 1 second. Boop, 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 doo. Okay, here we go. All right. Let's go to all right, let's check this out. Hey, Larry played some pickleball today. I brought my pickleball racket, but I just found out that none of the places where I'm going in Costa Rica have pickleball or pickleball anywhere close. It's legend. I seen a UFO in the sky super close. I had an OBE at 14 where a gray touched my head and unlocked it. What? I wish I could tell you my story. I've seen lots of things I'm desperate to share. Why don't you message me your story? I'm trying to get through a lot of Instagram messages. Actually, I did on the plane. Here. Pink Tourmaline. There's my Instagram handle. Message me on Instagram and tell me your story. Okay. Now, let's get back to Jason Abadi. So let's check this out. Actually, I'm going to add it to the list. This is actually a great person to reach out to for an interview. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Filmmaker, musician, and researcher exploring human beings, religion, and gnosis. Wow, been around since 2011. Holy smokes. Why the Gnostics believed the creator was evil. Whoa. Oh, cool. He studied the Anunnaki. Okay, let's watch a little bit of this one here. Let's just see what this is all about.
Wrote in his second book, Far Journeys. Basically says that in the course of his astral projections, he discovered that we're living in a control system that is managed by entities who work for
that's Jason Giorgiani that he's playing. Hold on, let me see this.
These books was a conversation between Jesus and his brother James. It was a set of instructions for what to say after you die. This text described checkpoints, gates, and something stationed at each one that stops the soul.
Okay, hold on, let's see. So is what he's done, Jason Abadi, does he kind of take a compilation of existing videos, or does he ever show up on camera or talk, or is it more he's stitching together videos? That's what it looks like. Not to say that that's bad, but he talks about the Orphan Gold tablets. Look at this. What? Okay, hold on. Oh, talks about Monroe. Interesting. The white light soul trap idea. Okay. This is cool. I'm going to have to look at this. Maybe I'll look at this on the flight. Actually, let me download it right now on my phone. Thank you for sending this to me, Starseed. Hold on. So we got Jason Abadi. Okay, here we go. Download. All right. I downloaded it, so hopefully I'll be able to watch it on the plane, because I don't think I'm going to have Wi-Fi on this next flight. It's going to be a small flight. Their whole topic, and many people who saw the shadow beings, maybe it fits into Archons or some other agenda going on. Whole topic. Shadow beings, got it. I don't know. I know people don't seem to like Darius, but he did a podcast with the Jesus Way podcast. That was incredible. Why? Not that I don't like him. I had him on my show. I as a person, he was a pleasant guest, and I thought we got along. I thought we got along well despite disagreeing. So it's like, I don't want people to think that I don't like him. I actually, he was really nice and really cool. We just disagree on certain things. That's about it. But why was this podcast so incredible? What was so amazing about it? Let us know, Shannon. There is my Instagram. Saturn is the realm of Yaldabaoth. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what Rolf basically was saying. I got in contact with Insights with Tony. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. Email him. Insights with Tony. He's the man. I just watched Reptilian Iceberg video from Maker. It was pretty good. Thank you so much. It means so much to be able to share. Yeah, no problem. Send it. The deeper problem with the Archons and their chief, Yaldabaoth, is that humans contain something of originating above the Archons realm. This is what they're farming. Oh, what's up, Pantera? I haven't seen you in feel like a little bit. Yeah, and I guess that's the question is, originating above the Archons realm. So my original question was, I know we hear the story in Gnosticism of this weird creation, and I just wonder how much of that is a bit of a, like, how much of that story is literal, you know what I'm saying? And is that exactly how it all went down, or is that meant to be some sort of an analogy for what exactly unfolded? And so it's just, these are just a lot of questions as to the origins of them. Are they completely separate? Are they random egregores? Are they thought forms that have manifested and will cease to exist once we stop thinking about them or giving them energy? What exactly are they? And I don't know if Rolf Nuyts' explanation was legitimate, but it was interesting because it at least provided a framework that I thought fit it all together, as opposed to leaving some gaps and holes that require further investigation or further questioning and things like that to flesh the entire theory out. Yes, he shows up. Oh, he does show up. Okay, cool. Okay. I seen shadow beings when I was a kid. Starseed was referring to Jason Abadi, by the way. Seen shadow beings when I was a kid. I remember they were wearing suits. All black silhouettes moving rapidly. Mr. Max Biker says, Rolf said pineal chakras and kundalini all play into the Archon trap. Yeah. Play in, he didn't exactly say play into it. They're a part of it, if that makes sense. Well, I guess you could say they play into it then by that logic. But yeah, that the pineal is a implant connected to the matrix. The chakras are overlays that allow them to plug you into the matrix and are used specifically for, I think that they're the ways to farm specific types of loosh. Tony from Insights with Tony says he doesn't have chakras, which is really interesting. I wonder how many other people don't have chakras. Go back and listen to the interview that I did with him, and you'll see that. It's pretty wild. I think Archons used to be human, but they became corrupted and turned evil. Well, so that's basically what Rolf is saying. Not, well, human, but yes, effectively divine spark souls like us. Oh my God, I didn't tell you guys. I started finally reading. Where is it? Can You Stand the Truth? This book. I started reading it yesterday while I was eating at 1 a.m. I'm sitting there do you guys, this is crazy. There's a Denny's here. It was the only thing that I could find that was open in Costa Rica by my hotel. So I was at Denny's and I started reading Can You Stand the Truth? Oh, it's already super interesting. It's huge. The book is huge. So it's going to take me a while to get through it. But I got a couple quotes that I want to show you. Hold on one second. Anyways, Ashayana DN has a video called Fall of Metatron, where she explains how the equivalent of the demiurge called Metatron in her teachings got cut off from source. The actual history of the fall. Wait, that's super interesting. I want to see that. Can you post that, Krishna? Or I'm so behind on my emails. Can you email that to me, Krishna? I'll get to it eventually, because I know you have sent me other emails that I need to get to. But if you could email that to me, that'd be great. Hey, super ladies back in the house. Greetings from Czechia. Remember, I thought it was Chechnya last time. Now I know. Czech Republic. The Gnostic solution isn't defeating the Archons physically, like battling with them in the astral realms. It is something much more radical. Well, isn't it just exiting? Well, what is the Gnostic solution then? Is it not just exiting the system? According to Ashayana deity, the Metatron collectively, after losing connection to Source, started existing in a black hole called Phantom Matrix and uses Kabbalah, Jewish Kabbalah, to siphon energy. Whoa, what? So it's similar. Holy smokes. Ashayana says there's 15 dimensions, 2, not 12. And Metatron's influence extends to all of that, extends to that. Okay, thank you. The solution is remembering once consciousness genuinely. Oh, sure. Yeah. Gnosis, right? Recognizes what it is and where it originates from. The ruler's authority over it begins to collapse. Yeah, for sure. Yes. Religions reinforce separation from this. You're right. Yeah, keep us in the haze, keep us confused. I mean, it keeps us confused. Hence all the confusion. Oh, I had a revelation, guys. I had an epiphany. Supposedly, the Kabbalah tree of life is the overlay matrix. Okay, listen to this. I was thinking about this. This occurred to me the other day when I made that Stephen Greer video. And it made me think about Tony Sayers and what he always talks about with the rug pull. And it just clicked all of a sudden in terms of what Tony's been saying with this rug pull. The 95% correct, and then 5% is the rug pull, is how they get you. The way I originally, and I don't know how exactly he meant it, but the way I originally interpreted what Tony was talking about with the rug pull was that the way that controlled opposition, basically the way that I interpreted it was he was saying that people who are trying to deceive us and mislead us get majority of the things right, and then they intentionally get the last 5% or 2% or 1% wrong to throw us off the scent, to basically be a part of the system and be a part of the matrix, although seemingly are not part of the matrix. Maybe he meant it that way, maybe he didn't, but I just had an epiphany about it. And what I realized is this: if you reframe how he was saying it, if I understood what he was saying correctly, then I totally agree with him. But let me explain the way that I understand it. It's not necessarily about intent. How can I explain? So there are so many people. Stephen Greer is a great example. I think, anyways, actually, maybe he's not, but there are a lot of people that are good examples of this. Stephen Greer, pretty much anybody with a deep passion or cause that we somewhat disagree with as being the correct path, but people will unintentionally rug pull us all the time. So basically, let's say the ultimate goal in this life is gnosis, is, as Pantera is saying, remembering, and then that empowers us, and then we can exit, or we can choose our own fate, or whatever it may be. We can do whatever we want then. We can return to what we're supposed to be, return to home, our true home. And along the way, maybe we're all seeking that. This is maybe why freedom is such a big word in pop culture, and it's thrown around. We want freedom. We want our freedom. We want liberation. We don't want government or this or that telling us what to do, when really deep down, we're striving for freedom from the matrix, but we don't know it. So freedom is that ultimate thing. Gnosis is maybe that ultimate objective. And that's what we're all searching for. But along the way, in this life, by design, we get sidetracked or distracted into different causes. I mean, some people get distracted into just really negative stuff, drugs, drug abuse, different types of negative behaviors, things like that. But then others who feel like we're really trying to be positive impacts and do the right thing, we start going along, and maybe the true goal is to get this gnosis, to reconnect with our true selves. But then we come across a particular cause, like we want to fight for telling people about health and nutrition. We realize that our bodies are sick, and we're given bad food and bad medicine and all the stuff, and that becomes our cause, and we fixate on it. And we spend the rest of our lives trying to spread that message. Beautiful message, because we are getting poisoned, and we are sicker by the day. But that is not the ultimate objective that we should be striving for, because it ultimately, when this life ends, because we didn't focus on the big picture, we get sucked back into the cycle. So we did good things in terms of trying to undo some of the damage that is being done to us in this life, certainly. but it doesn't solve the larger issue, the larger problem, which is effectively liberation from the matrix, which is in itself inherently sick. Or you might be going along and say, I'm searching for truth. I'm searching for truth. I'm trying to figure this out. And then you latch onto a particular religion. Oh, wait, this feels right. Now I'm going to spend the rest of my life preaching about Christianity or Islam or whatever it may be. And again, so like you're starting out with all the right intentions. You are looking at the world in a way where you're connecting with people. And that's, I think, what Tony is talking about with the rug pull, meaning you're legit starting off with good intentions. Doesn't mean you're controlled opposition or and maybe I was the one misunderstanding this. It doesn't mean that you're doing it with malicious intent. You are legitimately trying to help people through the lens that you have, but you've been at some point sidetracked or distracted from the real end goal. And then you make a pit stop and you just can't get out of that pit stop. And then you spend the rest of your life focusing on that. Or another thing could be, your goal could be, stopping people from eating meat because you feel the pain of animals and the suffering of animals, which they are suffering. We are suffering, all of us, and they are suffering. And so again, it's not to say that that's not you're not doing it with malicious intent, but that is the rug pull, basically, where you're stopping short of getting to that the keys to victory. It's the analogy is, let's say you're housed in a prison, and ultimately this prison is blocking you from getting out to, let's say, a paradise that's on the outside of the prison all around you. And so people are going along, and like the main objective when everybody gets to the prison is, let me find the exit door. We're just trying to break out of this prison. How do we get the keys to break out? And then everything's going to be good. And along the way, they're like, oh, wait a minute, there's a problem in this prison. The bars are too inside the cell. It makes the cell too small. And I think prisoners, yeah, I know we need to focus on getting out eventually, but man, the prisoners would be a lot happier here if we would just push back the bars. And I think that would make such a difference in the morale of the prisoners here. And then somebody gets fixated on that, and they spend their entire life in that prison trying to get the bars pushed back by a foot or 2 feet. And it's so important to them. It's like, hey man, what about trying to get out of this prison? Because that's what the goal was at the beginning, but they just get too wrapped up and they spend their whole life doing that. Or somebody else, they're trying to get out. Wait a minute. They realize the food we're eating is slowing us down. The prison food is bad. Okay, we need to get out of here, but let me try and fix the prison food, because once that food is improved, we're going to be better. We're going to feel better. We're going to maybe have a greater effort. And then they get so sidetracked on the food. They say, hey, what's your big objective? I'm trying to get the food fixed. Yeah, but what's the big objective? I don't know, but I got to get this food fixed first, and then we'll get out. That's the rug pull. And what you see now is that as people go along on their lives, we're all taught to find our passion, which I've been a big proponent of my entire life, because I feel like I've found my passion or passions, and they're so fulfilling. But what are they really? It's like that same thing. It's a cause, or it's a area of focus that we can spend our whole lives on, enjoy it, but then ultimately we're missing the bigger picture, and that's the rug pull I think that Tony is talking about. You get everything right, and you're operating from a good place in your heart. You're not trying to deceive people. And I think that's the distinction. That's the part that I was having trouble with, where I was having trouble with what my at least understanding of Tony Sayers and what he was talking about the rug pulls. I thought he was saying, hey, these people are intentionally trying to mislead us. I don't think that's what he's saying, or at least now that's not what I think it is. It's not. And that's what connected the dots for me. That's the rug pull, because as we go along, the way that the system is set up is to stay on the straight and narrow path to get all the way out, to go to that true one objective, one message, one guiding light. There's so many distractions along the way as you got to navigate up. Wait, I could champion this cause. I could champion that cause, this cause, that cause, the other thing. And you look at somebody like Stephen Greer, coming back to Stephen Greer, why this opened my eyes up is that he had this near-death experience, this guidance, and in so many ways, in his mind, I think he's tackling the most important issue, the biggest issue on the planet, which I thought was the biggest issue too. releasing all this information, this technology, getting rid of the lies and deception and all this stuff. But again, he's still operating within the framework of the prison, of the matrix. And so he's spending his entire life on this issue here, which I'm not saying it's not important. It is, but it's again within the system as opposed to what is the system and how do we exit it or reclaim control of it. That's the rug pull. Massive epiphany. What do you guys think? Okay, I just went crazy there. Let me read the comments now. Does anyone here actually care about evidence, meaning what can be observed, documented, compared, and independently checked rather than endless he says, she says chains? Well, what do you mean exactly? I mean, of course we care about evidence, and of course but we're doing, sometimes we are going to have to, in this pursuit, we're going to have to rely on testimony. Testimony is evidence. People think that you're just saying, oh, he says, she says, and then that takes it away. Think about a court of law. Eyewitness testimony is a very highly valued, sought after testimony. I think part of the problem in the matrix is we become the matrix or the system has taught us to be distrusting of each other and our own experiences. Oh, he might just be making it up to make money or do this or do that. And we then just, and we see this with people that see ETs. I saw this, I had an encounter, I was abducted, whatever. Oh, they're probably just making it up. They laugh at it in the media, right? And so we just have taken on this mindset or this mentality that most people, you hear something fantastical that's outside the realm of what is normally produced in the media, they're probably lying, or they're probably making it up, or they probably are crazy. So I think we need to reframe in our minds what is acceptable evidence, what are things we should be considering and opening our minds to. I've emailed it. Thank you, Christian. How high was your dose of 5-MeO? And did you only do it? Yeah, I only did it once. I can't tell you. I just basically follow the instructions of the shamans. Super Lady, isn't then the case with all the raising vibration frequency Kundalini, all this effort into practice of all the energies included raised go right to the Archons anyway? Yeah, I think if what you're saying that is again a distraction or a potential rug pull, I think you might be right. Intuitive Underground, Brett Stewart, Moksha Project have confirmed our real bodies and pods based reality. They have said that they've seen base reality. I don't know if we could say confirm because there is an alternative explanation that Insights with Tony presents, which is that base reality is another, it's so crazy, is another rug pull, is another fake. I'm not saying it's fake, but something food for thought. He said that the base reality is actually just another projection, I guess you could say, or something in the astral that is meant to confuse people when they see it, but it's not really housing anything. And it's interesting that he said that because when I interviewed, what's her name? I just had her name in my head. Rachel Corpus. When I interviewed Rachel Corpus and she saw the pods and she saw quote unquote base reality, it was when she had a near-death experience and she went into the astral and then she took some elevator in the astral and then got into base reality purportedly with all these pods. So if you think about it, what Tony is saying, that he just thinks that whole setup is a setup and it's not even real and it's just in the astral, kind of makes sense because she was in the astral. And then what? She goes from the astral into base reality, or she's just still in the astral and made to think that she's in base reality. Food for thought. Super Lady says, thank you. You're welcome. People are manipulated into worshiping their oppressors. Yeah, we call it Stockholm Syndrome. When distractions, physical senses are intentionally stopped, sensory deprivation experiments, for example, reality still generates convincing sensory stimuli. Potential interview topic. Do you have somebody that has conducted these experiments, or do you have a video that you could send me that I could review? That is interesting. During the hypnagogic state, yeah, we talked about this in a row. I saw a being made of angular, sharp crystal mirror shards that was surrounded by crystal mirrors. Man, you've seen a lot, Adi Malo. People are spending too much time trying to redecorate their prison cell. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I mean, I'm not saying I'm immune from this either. We all are, rather than remembering or putting back together all the stolen memories. Yeah, right? That's the rug pull. Feel as if daily meditation creates a mind that keeps you on track with finding truth, discarding false beliefs, connection to inner spark. Connection to inner spark is compass. It's compass. Yeah, I've been doing really good with my daily meditation, especially now that Tony gave me that really good app. I'm really getting into it. And I'm trying to meditate anytime, not just, oh, it has to be at bed or in the morning or this or that. I meditated on the plane. I meditate in the mornings, been doing long meditations at night. It's just kind of trying to squeeze it in whenever, wherever. The Matrix makes you chase things that don't matter. Yes, exactly. Status, politics, money. Well, for years, I was in Torah followers trend cult, only to realize the God of Old Testament I worshipped is actually the Matrix. Yes. Yeah. When I read Hattie McCoskey's story of his experimenting with reality when he was young, I was impressed by his dedication, as 99% of the people would be distracted by the Matrix, but he didn't. Wait. Right. Yeah, exactly. Hattie's a one of a kind. Hakan Kalis. Hi, Huzaifa. Came in a bit late. How are you? Hope you're doing good. I'm doing good, man. Just really tired. And I'm going to have to dip in 10 minutes. Maybe 5 minutes if I want to be safe. There is no more powerful love than love generated from Stockholm Syndrome. Oof. Hope that's not true, but I'm sure it is powerful. It had so much knowledge, Shannon says. Matrix, sorry. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Gnosis can't be objectively proven. Could be. For me, the evidence is reincarnation research, such as Stevenson and Tucker, raw remote viewing data, near-death experiences. So near-death experiences, but if you're relying on near-death experiences, and why did you not include astral projections or out-of-body experiences? And why did you include near-death experiences? Because the thing with near-death, oh, you did. Sorry. Out-of-body observations, birth chart, personality decoding, and the actual structures and anomalies we can observe in the world. Start with the data. Yeah. Well, certainly starting with the data and starting with those pieces of evidence. It's just that some people would call those pieces of evidence he says, she says. But yeah, I'm with you. NDEs are interesting because I think those are controlled deceptions. Nevertheless, there are still things that we can extract or extrapolate from those, but you have to be careful when observing that stuff. What we are all seeking is confirmation of our inner gnosis. True. Oops, Bible stuff. He can target things. Dude, why they circumcise babies? They have us all women fighting for abortion rights. So we think we have a choice. Aborted fetus for adrenochrome. Oh, you think that's what it is? Interesting. Amazing analogy with the prison, but you must consider the intention in many players, as this realm is based in deception and they mix truth with lies. Yeah, as above, so below. I agree. No, listen. Now, let me caveat this whole thing that I talked about in terms of the rug pull. Are there people that are intentionally trying to deceive us? Absolutely, 100%. That have ill will in their heart and are trying to deceive, or maybe they even started with good intentions and then they were commandeered, and then now they're getting paid, or they've been distracted by the Matrix and they're intentionally deceiving us. That definitely could be there as well. I'm not saying that that's not there, but what I'm saying is what's confusing to me is there's so many people that if they make mistakes or they go off the beaten path and they describe one thing wrong or two things wrong, to then immediately say they're part of the system and they're just trying to deceive us. I was like, well, I don't know, because sometimes people, I can feel their intention. They're still trying to spread the word. And yeah, they made a couple things that are wrong, but they're trying to still spread a good message, and they're operating from their heart. And then it occurred to me, it's like, well, no, they are operating from their heart, and they have gone astray, and that's that maybe the Matrix wasn't able to turn them over to the dark side, but it's got them fixated on something that is incorrect, and now it's led them there, and now it wants to keep them there. So they fixate on this one thing that has been a distraction from the real end goal, the real gnosis, and now they're stuck on that, preach that, and that gets other people to that same dead end. and doesn't get them all the way to the exit point. So it's a mix of the two. I believe Gnosis is wonderful, but what we do with it depends on our understanding. True, true, true. Moksha is best explained as escape from a real reincarnation cycle. Real world, real consciousness, real death, real tunnel routing infrastructure, not vague base reality or pod mythology. Okay. Yoshi says, I'm not sure what is going on. Are you new here? If you're new here and you came upon the live stream, yeah, it might be a lot. The pods are in the white tunnel trap, preparing for the next reincarnation. Could be. I doubt Rachel Corpus was in base reality when she saw the pods. I believe she was abducted by Greys and was on the ship and she saw pods. Alien abductees have seen the same as, oh, interesting. I didn't know that. That's cool. If you like tablet stuff, try Forbidden Knowledge with Billy. Yeah, I know about Billy Carson for a long time. Yeah, he goes hardcore into the Enuma Elish and all those tablet stuff. But the thing is about Billy Carson, it's kind of like, no, I shouldn't put, I'm not putting him in the same category as Steve, but the thing is Billy Carson is doing good work, but his whole thing is he's trying to understand the true history of humanity, all this ancient tech, all these different things that are great to know. And he's trying to, again, uncover this web of lies and really get back to what the true nature of our history is. But without, actually, you're right. Maybe I should look into some of his stuff again, and because maybe we can connect some of the work that he's doing to this bigger picture. But yeah, all I was going to say is he's not looking at the big framework, what I think is the bigger framework, the important framework. But nevertheless, there could be some good stuff there. This realm is based in deception. So true. Okay, it's 9:55. I got to bounce, guys. Oh, sorry, I didn't read all the comments. Let me just quickly see this. Oh, Master Gung Santa, you messaged me on Instagram, right? Just a reminder, I'm free to discuss Eastern perspective of the prison planet theory. For New Age concept, for example, OBEs, there's an Eastern Taoist equivalent. You messaged me on Instagram, and I need to get back to you. Okay, yes, thank you for the reminder. Hold on. 1 second, I'm trying to... Oh, John Schultz says, thank you for reviewing the illogical absolutism of Greer's on all abduction. Yeah, you're welcome. Fear of OBEs is justified as had scary experience in remote viewing where target looked back and have seen it again. Base 4, interesting. Shoot, I got too many. Okay, Master says, yes, take your time. Okay, I got too many messages. I can't read them all. I got to go, guys. I'm going to be late for my flight otherwise. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm going to be making content while I'm in Costa Rica. It's just not going to be as regular, I don't think, but I'm going to do my absolute best to keep stuff coming out. People, I saw some stuff on the plane that I was going through old messages and finally looking at a lot of videos people sent me. I've got some crazy stuff I need to cover. Really crazy stuff. Oh, and I started hitting up that list. I finally said, okay, I got to start emailing people en masse and start seeing if I can line up some good interviews. And I got a response from somebody very interesting. I'm not going to tell you who yet, but we might be having a pretty sick interview coming up soon. All right, guys, I got to take off. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it for this last minute random stream. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.